So I'm Gwen Griffith. I'm the curriculum director for the program, the Resilient Madison project this year, and very pleased to welcome everyone to our first webinar of the year. This first one is going to be a fairly informal gathering. Our intent is to get to know each other in this first session, talk a little bit, you can just kind of get us off on a steady footing with getting to know each other first, and then we'll get into some more details next time. Today's session, this is a brief outline of today's session. I'm going to touch on the goals and outcomes of the project at a high level, just so everybody knows where we're heading with our time together over the next 12 months. Then we're going to focus mainly on introductions. I've asked each of our team members to briefly introduce themselves, and then devote the bulk of the time to hearing your team there in Madison introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about themselves and their role in this process. And then we'll talk briefly about next steps in our next session, which will be in 2 weeks from today. So that's our outline for this next hour. And before I get into talking about the goals and outcomes of the project, I wanted to give you the opportunity, Bradley, to just make some opening comments for us as the leader of the process there in Madison County.
Oh, I don't know if I'm the leader of the process. Foremost, welcome to everyone. You know, this has been Gwen, you and your staff and team, we've been talking for several months, and so I'm actually excited to get things going. Thanks through this organization, the Model Forest Policy Program, they were able to secure a FEMA grant that's helping to pay for this study that we're going to do. And so we're indebted to your team for your help, and I'm just excited. I want to recognize we have Chester Bradshaw here, who's the superintendent for the Sugar-Salem School District. He and the other superintendent and the mayors and one of our commissioners, county commissioners, also sit on, for lack of a better term, I could tell them our executive board, that are pulling together all the aspects that will pull together what we pull out of this program in regards to our resilience plan and the mitigation opportunities that we were desperately needing to look at, as well as an economic development study that just kicked off this last week as well. And all that's under the umbrella of a comprehensive plan that we're doing to really give us some true goals and some long-range planning for us, from economic development to planning for potential disasters that we need to prepare for, as well as, we're also working on our floodplain management plan as we're redoing a new model with FEMA for our floodplain, so that the timing, as much as it's a pain to have everything kind of hit all at the same time, it's really kind of a blessing that it's all hitting at the same time, and to have this project ready to start, and it's just critical for us in identifying as we tie everything in with our hazard mitigation and looking for ways that we can really plan and prepare for the future, whether it's how to work on our, to recharge our aquifer in better ways, or how to prepare for droughts, or to prepare for future economic growth with the other studies, but they've all got to be tied together. So that's kind of the big picture what we're doing. I'm thankful for the cooperation. This is a multi-jurisdictional approach between the two school districts, the two cities, and the county that we have. And the city of Rexburg is hosting us today, so we're indebted to them. Those who are here are a mix. We have some that are on our core team that will be involved, twice a month, and then we have those that are on our advisory team that will be their involvement as much as they want to have, but helping us guide because of their expertise that they have in the different areas. And so we have quite a mix. When we get into the introductions, you'll see that. I wish we had more here, but this is a great start to get things going. Any questions you have for me or anything that I maybe need to add here that you can think of, Gwen?
I think that sets the stage really nicely, and we can be filling in the details as we move along. I think that's great. It's good to know that we've got a good many people here with us today.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, I will keep us moving then. Thank you for that very much, Bradley. And I will say that all of us are very much excited about this process. We've been chomping at the bit for a while now to get going, and excited about it, and very much honored to work with all of the team that you've put together. We're very, very pleased to be part of this process. So I wanted to start by just giving you a little bit of background. For those that aren't familiar with us, the Model Forest Policy Program is a national nonprofit organization, and we focus on community-based resilience for both people and natural resources. We recognize that the two are vitally interconnected, and so we approach it from that standpoint. And we have been doing that now for over a decade, working on resilient strategies with communities, and then helping implement those resilient strategies. The program that you're part of this year has been around since it's been 10 years ago that that Nancy and I first as partnered together to come up with the concept of this project. We recognized early on that there were a lot of changes happening, and that especially our more rural and small municipalities were not being served very well in preparing for these changes, and so we determined to put our focus there to protect the vital natural resources in their communities. And we developed a vision for what that could look like based on a virtual curriculum so that we could reach more communities across a larger geography. We piloted 2 communities. We tested our process in Idaho and Tennessee. And then in 2010, we launched our first full-year curriculum, and we had actually 6 communities that went through the curriculum with us that year. And we've had communities in our program ever since each year. Over 40 now have completed some form of planning with us in the last 10 years. So we're very pleased to be adding Madison County to that group of and joining that community. They will be a resource for you going forward, all of the alumni of the program. So what we do in a nutshell is we work with communities to foster resilience locally and regionally to the conditions that are changing. We do that in 2 steps. We assess the risks and the opportunities presented by those changes for people, for your infrastructure, and for your natural resources. And then we facilitate the process to identify and implement strategies that will bring greater preparedness and resilience to your communities. And you can see in the map on the right there kind of the geographic distribution. We've worked with communities from coast to coast in the lower 48 and a number of Alaskan Native villages as well. So the overarching goals for the project, just to be so we're really clear about where we're heading in the big picture, is to increase the resilience of Madison County to extreme weather and other rapidly changing conditions. And I know that you're all aware of the way that things are changing in our ecosystems and our weather, as well as the changes in development pressures, all of the things that put pressure and stressors on people and places. We want to increase resilience to those factors and do that by bringing protection to people, infrastructure, and natural resources in Madison County. And we've been calling it the Resilient Madison Project, and I think that's pretty descriptive of where we're going. The process objectives to get towards those overarching goals, the first is we go through an assessment process. We assess both the risks and the opportunities presented to the communities by these changing conditions. Then we identify what the optimum preparedness steps and resilience strategies are to meet those local challenges and opportunities. And then in the case of Madison County, with this wonderful multi-jurisdictional opportunity that's happening now, we will take the very deliberate step of integrating those resilience strategies into the comp plan, your hazard mitigation plan, your economic development activities, and the FEMA floodplain assessment process. So the timing is going to be challenging, but also just a marvelous opportunity to bring the resilience picture into all of those other planning steps along the way. It's going to enhance all of those others as we're moving forward, and we're designing it to be specifically useful to that end. And all along the way, we want to be constantly building the local capacity to take action towards those preparedness goals that you identify. So the long-term outcomes that we're aiming for is greater health and safety for the residents of the county, protection of your environmental quality, advances in preparedness and rapid recovery from the hazards that are unavoidable. Sustainability of your community infrastructure can increase. All of those things will contribute to economic savings and development opportunities in every sector of the community, and then ultimately protection and resilience for your natural resources. Broadly speaking, that includes your watersheds, your farms, the forests and wildlife, the fisheries, all those natural systems that all of us depend upon are at the root of the resilience activities that we foster through our process. The results or the end products at the end of the year, we will have a written resilience plan that focuses on calling out the risks and the opportunities for resilience. And then we will have very clear and user-friendly recommendations for how to utilize those resilience strategies in other ways that the cities and counties and school districts operate. And then specifically in the last few months, we'll focus on the translation from planning into action with a very clear action plan for how to move forward, to really take those insights and goals that are set by the community and figure out how to put them in action in practical, feasible terms. So that kind of covers the big picture of the goals and objectives and where we're headed in the big picture. We're not going to get much further into the details today because our session in 2 weeks is more of a technical orientation, and it's going to go into a lot more detail about the how we get to achieve all these goals. But I did create this little graphic to try and give us a visual of the way we're thinking about it, at least, that the resilience planning we've placed it in the middle here and showing that it has a relationship with the other 4 activities that will be going on in parallel. And so we'll be constantly looking for those interactions. And to the extent that we're cross-pollinating between those processes and ours, the better our outcomes are going to be. And we're really excited to have this opportunity to do it in this manner. We're very much appreciative of FEMA funding to make this possible, and Bradley's and all of Madison County's willingness to take this on. It's really going to be a model, a leadership model for the rest of that region of the country, and we're just very honored to be part of the process. So I'll stop right there and just see if there are any comments or questions about that high overview.
Let me just ask Gwen, is there a way, can you send me, or put it on so I can a shared file so I can forward their presentation to
Absolutely. Yes, and I will say now there'll be a lot more detail about this in a couple of weeks, but everything that we do in our sessions together is recorded, and copies will be available for everyone. Both we'll have PDF of the slides as well as the recording for anyone who wants to view the recording.
Is there, this is Keith Davidson, is there other communities, I mean obviously you've done this in other communities, is there outcomes? Could we like see what other communities have done, and so we could kind of get a feel for the direction?
Yes, absolutely. We've got some summaries of the various ways that different communities have approached this process and the things that are happening because of it. So that'll be part of the introductory materials for you. Absolutely. It's an excellent question.
That'll be next meeting.
That'll be, and we'll actually send you some advance reading to look at before the next meeting. So I can include that right up front if you'd like. I think that would be helpful. Absolutely.
Great question.
And I'll say that every community is different.
Yeah.
Every community, even though it's a similar process that we go through, the conditions are unique in every community, and how they put that into action is also just as unique. So examples are helpful, but they don't necessarily mean that that's what will happen in Madison County. Other comments or questions?
Just a comment. I'm pleased that, as I mentioned, we have the superintendent for Sugar Salem School District here. Jim Lawrence just came in with BYU Idaho, and one of the things that I'm actually looking forward to is being able to use is to tie into the students that we have, whether at the high school or at the university. Possibly look for ways to involve our local students if possible, to give them some real experience as well. That's something I wanted to just bring up right now, and Gwen, you and I have talked about that quite a bit, but where we've got two of them representing two of the major players here in the community, I just wanted to bring that up again.
I think yes, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think there is a huge opportunity, and many communities do go down that path, working with K through 12 as well as college in various ways. The science classes can be very active, but it's not just limited to the science classes. There are many ways for students and classrooms, both inside the classroom and outdoor classrooms, can be engaged. Especially when it comes to beginning to implement certain things. Then college and school campuses can become outdoor classrooms and laboratories for students to learn. There's a lot of great opportunities and many examples of environmental education that can be a very nice fit with what we're doing.
Thank you.
You bet. Anything else right now?
No, I think that's good so far. We probably just move on.
All right, good. So for the next 10 minutes, we want to just briefly begin to introduce our team. We're going to keep our introductions really short because we really want most of this hour to be about listening to you. But we wanted to give you a sense of who we are and where we are. We are a virtual team. The headquarters is in Idaho, up in the area where Nancy and Margie are. And so they're not terribly far away from you, but the rest of the team is spread across the country from Seattle to North Carolina. And so we operate in a virtual environment, and thus the curriculum is also a virtual environment. And some of these folks are with us today, and others I'll just touch on briefly as we walk through there. But I wanted to give you a sense of more or less the village that contributes. Each has their own particular niche and contribution that they bring to the table at different parts of the year. So we're very excited about bringing our group to bear with the Madison community. So I'm going to start first with our founder and leader, Nancy Gillum, and she is based up in the Sandpoint, Idaho area. Nancy, are you there?
I am. Excuse me. Good morning. Good morning, Bradley. Good morning, folks down in Madison. I'm up in snow-ridden northern Idaho. So I am the executive director of the Model Forest Policy Program, and Bradley, I really just want to acknowledge you for being the champion that you are to create this program in Madison. I'm here for any kind of high-level questions that come up or needs. I will be pretty much in the background just making sure that everything runs smoothly. So I'm excited to work with you folks, and I'm here if you need me.
Thanks, Nancy. And I would just add that Nancy led this process locally in Bonner County, where she is there in Idaho. So she lived it as you are going to be living it as the leader at that time, and we're still utilizing the lessons from that first pilot community today.
Oh, I want to add one more thing, Gwen. And Bradley and other folks there in Madison, I really want to acknowledge you because you truly are the poster child for Idaho to take this project on, and we're looking forward to other counties in the West and in Idaho learning from you and what you gain from the program. So thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Margie Hall is our Associate Director with MFPP. Margie, are you there?
Yes, I am. And good morning, everyone. And I wanted to, I'm glad to hear that Chester Bradshaw is there. Welcome. I'm actually, what's not on the list that you see in front of you is that I'm actually sit on the West Bonner County School District 83 School Board. I am one of the trustees. I'm into my 4th year on the school board. So I hope to, besides what you see here, hopefully bring in that perspective. One of my passions is education and younger education and how we can bring that in, integrate that into the programs that we work with or the communities we work with. And we're doing that in a couple of places up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I know Gwen has been doing so out in Tennessee a bit. So hopefully bring that. And I did sit on the County Planning and Zoning Commission up here in Bonner County for 11 years, so have an understanding somewhat of Idaho codes and how that ripples down to the county level. And hopefully we'll bring in that more localized perspective. And I sit about as far to the northwest from you as about I could get. I'm up at Priest Lake, Idaho, at the end of the road, basically, literally. I don't know if any of you have been up at Priest Lake, and I'm looking at about now probably 40-plus inches of snow outside.
That's great perspective. That makes me feel better.
Yeah. We won't complain anymore.
And Chester, I'm just doing a little school board thing, but I don't know if anyone is going to Boise next week for the day on the Hill for the school board, but I will be down there. So I'll look for you all from Sugar Salem just to see if you're around.
Yeah. Yes, I'll be around. So I'll watch for you.
Okay, I will look for you. I'm the Region 1 Vice Chair.
Okay. Okay. I'll make a point to introduce myself.
Same here. And that's for the Idaho School Board Association.
That's fantastic. What a great opportunity. Thank you very much, Margie. And I am Gwen Griffith. I am the overall curriculum director managing the process as well as bringing the water resources expertise to the curriculum. I've worn a number of different hats professionally. The first half of my professional life was actually in large animal veterinary medicine. And I jumped ship from that into conservation because I wanted to bring health and wellness at a larger scale beyond the one animal or one herd at a time. And so I've been able to do that through conservation work, especially watershed stewardship, and now working at community resilience is extremely rewarding I still feel like I'm a health practitioner, but just at the landscape scale. And I'm very pleased to be part of this process. And we'll be bringing those different aspects to the curriculum. Another key member of our team is Deb Kleinman. Deb, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I had to change headphones. Hi, everyone. I'm Deb. I live, I don't know, just down the road from you in Wyoming. And I spent a couple years not too far from you on the Wyoming side of the Teton Range doing some public lands work. So excited to work with you. I have a pretty diverse background. I have a master's in public health, and so I tend to be the person that facilitates the conversations around the intersection between human public health and everything else that we talk about. I do a lot of facilitation, stakeholder collaborative network parts of what we do, and then when I'm not working with MFPP, I do a lot of work really embracing constructive conflict and negotiation, mostly in natural resource issues, and I'm really excited to get going.
All right. Thank you very much. Deb wears a number of different hats on our team. It's really helpful. Next is Toby Thaler, based in Seattle. Hey, Toby.
Howdy. I think I need to change that slide to say 40 now, 40 plus years.
Okay, we'll update it.
So my orientation has been forests and fish policy work, taking what the science says and trying to convert it into public land management policy. And the longer I do this, the more I realize that I need to know more. So I'm looking forward to learning from you all. I really like to do digging into what's happening on the ground with research on both the policy and the science, and help you figure out what works for you. And I think I'm the first one to use the camera, so hello. And as I said, we have had about a foot of Cascade concrete. Now it's raining and turning into a horror show.
All right, thank you, Toby. Next on our team is Alex Perry, who also wears a number of different hats. Alex, are you there?
I am, and I'll put my camera up real quick. Hello, I'm so happy to meet all you guys. We've really been looking forward to working with you. So my specialty with this program is in natural resources and IT. My education is in natural resource economics, and I spent about 20 years really focused in the sustainable forestry and agriculture fields, working in rural development and extension type activities. And I'm also going to be the resident IT geek, so trying to help keep everybody connected, and I'm here when you need me.
All right. Thank you very much. Alex is working behind the scenes, and is the reason that when our webinars go lovely and smoothly, it's because Alex is doing what's her magic behind the scenes. Next on our list here is Barbara Cousins. Barbara, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, just fine.
Perfect. Just making sure I have the technology correct. So thanks, Gwen. I am based in Lyons, Colorado, which is sort of probably closer to the Wyoming border. I have spent the last 10 years working in the West, primarily in rural communities in northeast and eastern Montana and northwestern Wyoming specifically. And prior to that, I spent 10 years in international projects with the World Bank, working primarily on private sector development. So I would say my expertise, at least as far as this project goes, is on the economics and policy side. Some of my specific areas of expertise relate to evidence-based decision-making and evidence-based policy-making, insofar as using economic and funding models and data and systematic review and all of the tools that we have available to make better decisions, stronger decisions on effectiveness using scarce resources and that kind of thing. So, and I'm really excited to work with you guys. I've spent a bit of time in Idaho. I have served on the boards of two rancher groups. One was the Rancher Stewardship Alliance in Northeast Montana I worked with for close to 5 years, and then a national group called Partners for Conservation that Jim Stone of the Rolling Stone Ranch in Montana started, and I was the Montana alternate behind Jim. So my passion definitely is working in the rural West, and I'm really excited to work with you guys.
Fantastic. It is great to have you with us. Barb is new to our team, and we're just thrilled that she's with us this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Another person for you to be aware of, Sarah, are you with us? I don't think that Sarah was able to join. Sarah, are you on the line? Sarah when she joined us, was a graduate student at Virginia Tech and served an internship with us, and is still in a support role through the summer. She is a specialist in monitoring and evaluation and knowledge management, and she has done some background research on Madison County as in preparation for our year together, and I'm going to be sharing a brief paper that she wrote to sum up some background information. That'll be one of the advanced reading items that we'll be sending you this week to look at. And so there will be opportunities to engage with Sarah she's available to do additional research, technical research and interpretation, but at least through the month of August with us this year. So we're really thrilled to have Sarah on board. And another person who couldn't be with us today but will be part of our year together is Kara Pike. She's a social science and communications expert. She wears a number of different hats. She knows both environmental sciences as well as how to communicate it, which is super, that's such a valuable skill. So we will have the opportunity to benefit from Kara's expertise as we move through the year, and will be particularly helpful in shaping the educational opportunities there in Madison County. So I know you'll enjoy that. And then the last but definitely not least is Mike Johnson. He's our overall IT coordinator and webmaster. Mike keeps the online learning management system active and running, and so constantly working behind the scenes in that regard. You probably won't ever see him, but I always want to introduce him and let everybody know this is part of the infrastructure of our process. Mike and Alex together are what let the virtual process be successful. So that is our team in a nutshell. I didn't want to take a lot of time. Alex and I will be constants throughout the year, and then a lot of the other team members may not be there every week, but will be coming in and out as their expertise is front and center. So through the year, you will have the opportunity to interact with everyone, and they are looking forward to doing that. So it's time now to turn our attention to the Madison team members. And again, we're just thrilled that there is this multi-jurisdictional approach with the county, Rexburg, Sugar City, the two school districts, and Brigham Young University in Idaho. All of those partners together are just a wonderful opportunity. And the place that you're in, looking at this aerial satellite view of the county, it's such a diverse landscape as well. Everything from the forested hills in the southeast corner across those great fertile plains, and then desert up in the northwest corner. The diversity of the landscape is as amazing, and will be really fascinating to try and work with through the year. As you know, Bradley is our project leader as the county administrator. but he has identified 2 really great co-chairs who will be the day-to-day leaders of the planning team. And I've had the opportunity to have several conversations with Sharon Oakey and Annalisa, and so very pleased to be working with them. Do we have Annalisa in the room with us now, Bradley?
We do.
Oh, wonderful. All right, great. So these are going to be the point person, sort of our go-to, and then as with our team, other members of the core team and the advisors we anticipate will have different phases of the year when they are more active and their expertise is more needed, and then at times not as active. But these should be our constant point people here throughout the process of the year. So we're very pleased to be working with this group. So the next step really is just to hear from you. You can organize the order that you go in there. Is whatever you want to choose is fine with us. I would love for each of you to just tell us your name, what your position is and your organization, what you see as your role on the team, and especially why have you volunteered and why is this important to you? We want to understand. We're going to be listening very carefully to you guys today so that we hear from you what it is you want to get out of this process. What are your goals? Why does this matter to you? And if you have specific questions that you want us to address in 2 weeks for the more technical orientation session, then feel free to pose those questions to us now so we can be sure that we're answering your questions with all the details next time. So Bradley, I'll let you orchestrate that on your end, and we'll just go around the room if you don't mind and see if we can hear from everyone.
Let me maybe I should make a quick introduction for those who are not here that we're hoping to be here, but Sharon Oakey couldn't make it today. She has a conflict with a dentist right now, so and we all understand that, but I just want to recognize we have Bill Squires was supposed to be here. He's part of our planning and zoning commission for the county, and he is looking forward to being an active member of the core team. We were going to have just to drop in, but he had some appointments, was my counterpart in Teton County, Idaho. He actually lives here in Madison, and the road's closed for him to get to Driggs. So he's someone that I will connect you with. There's no question this is something that I think he would find interesting. We were supposed to have Randy Lords here from Madison School District, but he is in Boise right now and is unable to attend, but he will be joining us as well in the future. And so I think that kind of covers for the specific people that I knew that wanted to be here but couldn't. But I think we'll just start over here with Annalisa and let her introduce herself. And probably most of the people here really don't know what to expect, I would dare say, from this study. And we're looking forward to learning together some new opportunities. But go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Annalisa Wiggins, and I was asked to co-chair the committee. So I'm community liaison. I thought we'd talk about czar or something. Okay, I'll get new cards.
Oh, she's good.
So as far as expertise, I don't know that I have a lot to bring. I have a lot of interest. I have a master's degree in English. Before I went to grad school, I worked in editing, and then I taught writing for a while as an adjunct professor. So I can contribute to writing once we're to that phase. I have a lot of interest in conservation and also in getting community involvement, I think. And so I think projects as big and small, I think that we can do to whether it's getting community, school children to university students involved, or trying to tap the expertise that we have in our community with the working on natural resources or things like that. I think really helping people feel some of the ownership they have of the stewardship and things to part of living here and caring for the resources, but also the preparedness and the ways that of being involved with this process, I think this is a great opportunity to do that. So I'm excited to be involved with this project.
Thank you very much, Annalisa. And I have to say that the people skills and the writing skills and those community connections are absolutely vital. Those are some of the most important skills out there. So I'm just thrilled that you're able to co-chair this process. Thank you.
I'm up next. My name is Chester Bradshaw. I have a probably unique background, I would say. I'm a farm ranch kid, and so I have that perspective. I have a natural resources background. Probably none of you know that. In education, that's not all that common, but I worked for the Forest Service for several years before I got into education. So I do have some different perspective that may be helpful to this group. But the reason I'm really here is East Idaho is growing exponentially, and I have a tremendous interest in the economic impact that has, and so I'm here to try to, on a professional level, to try to manage our school situation as well as I can. I feel like, speaking for our school system particularly, we haven't always made decisions based on the 20-year impact or even the 50-year impact of what that's going to be, where, as money's become an issue and whatever, we're making 5-year decisions, and then 5 years down the road we're making another 5-year Band-Aid decision. And so, I'm tremendously interested in the planning process and trying to see the train coming as quick as I can. That's really my interest in being here. I do have different perspective than many educators, but having said that, I'm here to learn what I can learn and contribute where I can.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Chester. That's really helpful.
All right. I'm Greg Schneider, representing the GIS department. I'm here. Our GIS manager is out of town, Bonnie Moore. I'm not sure if she'll be here moving forward, or since I made it to the first meeting, if I get the job. So that's probably what's going to happen. We're here in a support role mostly, so we'll provide any good data sharing we can make and help out diagramming anything, modeling type stuff. GIS is yeah, we do all the mapping. It stands for Geographic Information.
We need some more acronyms in our life, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. So, and anything that has to do with location, we manage that data.
So just like planes and
exactly.
Okay.
So, and then personally, I'm actually going to be graduating from the college here this upcoming April, and so the program I'm in is actually run through the geology department. So I've had the opportunity to take some of the environmental mitigation and natural resources, natural hazards. So I have a little bit. I'm not an expert by any means, but I've had the opportunity to take and study some courses, and then we do a lot of hands-on field trip work living in the area we're at. So hopefully I can participate in some way in that sense.
All right. Thank you very much, Greg. GIS skills are in great demand. We know how many people are utilizing your skills and input. So thank you very much for being part of this. That will be a very important aspect of the process.
Gwen, you shouldn't tell him that his skills are in high demand. We like him here.
I meant in demand locally. He's needed right there.
I'm Clifford Morris. I'm the building official for Sugar City, and I'm probably the only person that doesn't belong here. I'm older than everybody else and know a heck of a lot less than most of them. So anyway, my son works for the NRCS, which I'm sure you're aware of, and does a lot of soil science things for them. And I pick up tidbits from him all the time, and I have found it to be quite interesting, and I'm willing to give my support to anything that shows that it's a good cause.
Very good. Thank you very much, Clifford. You know, it really helps to have someone with your background and the institutional knowledge of things across time. It makes a huge difference to have that voice in the process. So just really pleased to have you participating. Thank you.
All right. Hi, Gwen, and other members of the virtual team. My name's Eric Miller. My capacity, I think, is as a technical advisor to the group is at the behest of Bradley, and I'm really grateful to be here. My expertise is, I guess it would be a couple-fold. I have degrees in environmental science and hydrogeology, so I'm actually a practicing hydrogeologist in both surface water and groundwater. And specifically, right now, I do a lot of groundwater simulations using mod flow and things to really try to characterize groundwater systems. And so in association with that, I have an undergrad degree in chemistry, and so groundwater and groundwater quality are a big deal to me. And so my interest in that regard, as it pertains to this group, I think are sort of groundwater availability, both for irrigation and drinking. Because as you know, looking at our county, you understand that we get a lot of our drinking water from the ground. And so the vulnerability of that and the resilience of that particular resource is huge to our county and area. And up to this point, we haven't had a lot of groundwater quality issues, but as you can imagine, if you were to contaminate our aquifer in some fashion, and 90% of our people drink from it, that's a huge issue to us. And so that's an area that I will be of interest in sort of looking at. And so that's kind of my expertise and interest, and I'm just grateful to work with such a diverse group with so many talents, and look forward to assisting however I can. So.
Thank you so much, Eric. We're looking forward to working with you. And clearly, water resources are going to be a very prominent sector in this process, with in a variety of ways, both for the human uses and for the natural systems as well. So we're really grateful to have your expertise in the mix on that.
Okay, I'm Jim Lawrence. I'm at Brigham Young University, Idaho. I teach civil engineering up there. I got my master's and PhD in civil engineering from Texas A&M, Giga-Maggies. Right. So as far as some of my role is, I'm more of an advisory type of a role in this, and also a liaison with the school. And I'm looking for great opportunities for students to be able to get involved in these things. And in civil engineering, a strong branch of that is the environmental side of things with water and wastewater and stormwater and soil mechanics. My expertise are in transportation and pavements, but I've done some work related to the environmental side. Before I went to Texas A&M, I worked as a director of engineering in Tooele County in Utah, and during my time there, there were a couple of things that got some experience in. We had to reevaluate our FEMA flood mapping while I was there and went through that process. We also had a a special area management plan that we were putting together for the south shore of the Great Salt Lake and looking at places that we could develop wetlands and as well as develop commercially and working together with a consortium of people to pursue a 404 permit with the Army Corps of Engineers to do development in that area. So a little bit of experience in some of those areas, kind of at a high elevation viewpoint, but glad to be a part of this.
Thank you very much, Jim. It's really good to have you on. Yeah, I think probably Bradley mentioned to you that I have also did my stint at Texas A&M, so yeah. I'm with you there.
Go ahead, Ben. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to add that having that engineering background, too, is so super valuable, especially when we're looking at infrastructure issues and sustainability and risk management for infrastructure will be really helpful.
You know,
Thank you.
This is Bradley Peterson, and I feel, honestly, there's a big part of me that's wholly inadequate to be here. Just, I mean, you're going to laugh. My undergraduate from A&M, yes, is in management, and then my master's degree is actually a split degree between all things healthcare administration and strategic management. So I wonder how I managed to get in this position, but I serve for the county as their planning zoning administrator, as well as I oversee all building inspections, and I'm the floodplain administrator, and then welcome to the county, the 40 other odds and end jobs that are thrown at me. But it's really just been a delight. My background from work, I've spent 25 years as a fundraiser. I just tell everyone I'm a certified beggar. So I've graduated from the cardboard cutout sign saying "Give to me," to just going right into living rooms and begging. So I did that for years in grant writing and everything else, but it's really been a treat to have an opportunity to work with in the county and really build the relationships with the cities, the school districts, and really trying to do true planning and trying to look ahead. We've had a comprehensive plan that was done 10 years ago that's due to be redone that honestly didn't have any planning involved. It was just great at saying these are the rules, what you can do with your land, what you can't do with it, but there wasn't reasoning, there wasn't a purpose behind it. And so I feel very fortunate I'm in a position to bring the teams together and to try to really look ahead into the future, both economically, environmentally, and as we look at the projections for growth and how we merge all that together is the challenge that we're facing. And honestly, I am just really having lots of fun every day. This has been just a treat to everything from, believe it or not, to the floodplain management, as we're working with FEMA literally right now on looking at working on a new model for our floodplain, to everything else we're doing. It really has been a lot of fun. And Gwen, thanks to you and to everybody. I've visited with some of you, and it's been a delight so far. And so thank you for your efforts and time already put in, knowing that there's a lot more still to come.
Thank you very much, Bradley. It's been a delight for us to work with you already, and really looking forward to doing more of that. At the same time, we know how many, I like to say you've got a lot of plates spinning in the air. I know you got a bunch of them, so we want to keep you engaged, but at the same time, you've got a fabulous team here that are going to be able to move things forward, so I'm really pleased about that. We're off to a great start.
Thank you.
I want to just mention, to wrap up our hour, just to give you a little taste of what's coming next.
Wait
Sorry,
a second.
Oh, did I miss somebody?
We have one more here. I kind of sat in between.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
I'm good. I'll keep it short. I'm Keith Davidson. I'm the Public Works Director and City Engineer for the City of Rexburg. I've been here 17 years. And so my role, I would imagine, is an advisor discussing public infrastructure and things of that nature.
That's fantastic, Keith. We're really thank you so much for serving in that role. I think that's really important. We know how important the City of Rexburg is to this whole process, so having you as that connection is important, and I'm sure there'll be other ways that we'll be connecting with Rexburg as we go along. You can help us guide that process. That's really great. Do we have anyone who's on virtually that's not there in the room? Anyone on with us online?
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't think I see anybody either. I just wanted to check and make sure. Okay. All right. Well, just to wrap up, I just want to point to what's next. The big picture of our schedule this year, February through October, will be focused on the planning process itself. And then November through January, we'll be focusing in on transition to action. And some of that will begin right away. There's not a hard and fast line between those two, but that's where the emphasis will be in our schedule. And then what we've agreed to as far as our schedule is to meet on the second and fourth Tuesdays of each month, with a few exceptions due to holidays or other conflicts. That will generally be our schedule, starting at 11 a.m. Mountain each time. And that schedule will take us step by step through what can look like a complicated process, but the way we manage it is we break it down into bite-sized chunks and do it step by step so that it doesn't get overwhelming. And we focus try to focus on the main things that are critical to your community and not get down too many sidetracks. Focus on what's important for Madison County. So that's sort of the big picture there. And next, in 2 weeks from today, in our second session, will be more of a technical orientation where we will look at the virtual systems, what it means to work in a virtual environment, begin to do identification for team building, to fill in the gaps and identify other people who can help. We will look in detail at the syllabus and the schedule for the year so you know what topics are coming up when, and then give you access to the online training resources so you can have access to all of the training materials that we'll be developing as we go along through the year. And we'll be underway with our planning process. We'll be providing you following this some reading material to begin looking at, including the brief overview paper that our intern Sarah put together. Later this week you'll get the detailed syllabus and schedule and can start absorbing that and thinking about who might be helpful for the different topics as you look through that, and thinking about building your team over time, pulling people in as needed through the year. The community process is an important part of this as well, so we'll start to think about where do we plug in community outreach and engagement as part of the process. Any comments or questions? I forgot to use my camera, so I'll put the camera up so that I can say hi and at least wave. Any comments or questions about our discussion today? I just feel great about the team that's assembled there in Madison.
Yeah, Toby here. I second that I'm very impressed. I'm looking forward to working with you all.
Me too. Any other comments from the MFPP team?
Nope, this is Nancy. I think we've got a fabulous team. I'm excited. Thanks.
All right. Well, Bradley, thank you very much. Thank you for getting this organized and everyone there. And you and I will continue having regular chats, I think, to sort of just to keep in touch. But we are on our way. We are officially underway.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Great to meet you all.